Before the next show starts, let's enjoy an intermission. You'll find our snack bar chock full of good things to eat and drink. Tasty, tempting hot dogs, thirst-quenching soft drinks, fresh, crunchy popcorn, a complete assortment of delicious candy, and a full line of cigarettes. You've plenty of time, so visit the snack bar now. A tasty treat will double your enjoyment of the show. For your convenience, we shall keep you informed of the remaining intermission time, 3 minutes before the next show starts.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
The next show will start in 2 minutes.
Yes, Toddy, the chocolate malt in a can.
It's so good hot. It's so good cold.
It hits the spot with young and old.
Yes, Toddy pleases everybody. Delicious chocolate malted toddy, made with rich, real milk, not powdered milk.
So come and get it, everybody. It's time to drink your chocolate toddy.
What else is new? That's the second time in a row my mic was muted. Hey, gang, it's me. I'm really excited to see all of you here tonight. We have a great, great show tonight. It is our drag night, so to speak. Not so to speak, it is our drag night. That's what it is. Tonight, we have two very, very special guests, as well as a special guest co-host whose head is still out of the picture to an extent. Yeah, go like that. That's good. I can see him. You can't. You'll see him in a minute. We've got Ryan Dixon with us tonight. Kameron Scott is going to be our co-host du jour. We have from the United States, Ms. Carol Lee, and all the way, are you ready for this? All the way from Sydney, Australia, we have MIdas. Now, all of them just went, oh, they're going to introduce me. No, I didn't. Because first one thing I want to tell you, gang, is tonight, again, as I always tell you, any money collected after the first $10 goes to Feed the Need, artists helping artists here in Orlando. It cost me about $10 to do the show, give or take, with all of the stuff that I have here. And that is what I do. So if you want to do that, or you know what, even our artists who are here, if they want to plug to get some help, they can too. I have no problem with that. It's up to you if you want to do that. Just remember that performers are out there, folks, and they're not able to do what they do. And that sucks a lot. I can tell you now, I've been retired now pretty much for a little over a year, and I'm like to go out of my mind. So there you go. Right now, here we go. Let's introduce the one and the only. Hello, Miss Lori McCaskill. How are you? Lori McCaskill's in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Ryan Dixon, or as they say, Kameron Scott. Hello, Ryan. Let me unmute you, buddy. You are now unmuted. Now I can see your head. Okay, now I can see. Oh, yes. It was just on the preview. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I was like, who's Lori? When you were
Lori
bringing me
McCaskill.
in, I was like,
yeah, I'm sorry. Lori McCaskill is a very dear friend. A very dear friend and a marvelous performer here in Orlando, Florida. I love your shirts. I'm not saying anything else. I adore your shirt. I think I want one. Let me tell you, today I was driving down the road, and the back of my car, if you've seen the pictures of the back of my car, it is an ad for a presidential candidate who is not our president. We don't get political on the show. But, well, apparently we do. With Ryan
different in 13 different languages and sign
which
language.
I love. And some goofball pulls up next to me and says, "Hey, somebody vandalized the back of your car." And I looked over at him and I went, "Oh, that's funny," to myself, and then said, "You know, it's a shame to hear that. And you know what's even worse?" He goes, "What?" I said, "Somebody's vandalized your face, obviously." So that made me feel much better. So, Ryan, anything going on with you that we should know about? Anything exciting?
No, it's what's exciting is that Vice President Biden was in Charlotte yesterday, and no one, like, I had no idea. Like, I was severely disappointed that I did not get to go to by the time I found out and I started heading towards uptown Charlotte, there's no chance.
A lot of other people were already heading in that direction too. There you go. Well, let's really quickly say hi to Jack Ledoux, who just came in the room and said hi. And Lori has posted, actress, producer, director, amazing mother, wife, friend, LOL, I'm all things to all people. Yes, she is. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce right now, all the way from Orlando, Florida, the one and only Miss Carol Lee. Hey, Carol.
Hello. Oh, I didn't know I'd be that close. Oh,
surprise! Well, you can move back if you want to.
Right.
Hey, Carol, how are you?
HD is nobody's friend. Let's tell you that right now.
No, I get it. I bought myself a new laptop during the pandemic, and it works far too well. So nice to have you here. We've actually got people in the audience tonight. That's very exciting, and people are talking. If you do have questions, folks, yes, thank you indeed. Of course, probably 4 of them are us, which frightens me.
No, I'm not watching.
Oh, very good. Good. That's good to know. So, Carol, aside from what we're doing right now, and I know you do bits and bobs online here. Do you have anything to plug at all?
If I had anything to plug, I wouldn't be here.
Well, there you go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I did that nicely and exactly as it was intended.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Damn it. And I'm hoping that it's going to end real soon for all of us, and everybody can get back to doing what they do so well.
A person. I thought you meant a person.
No, I meant.
Okay. We are on the same page now.
Oh, good.
Oh, because I'll fill up the opening of an envelope. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, I understand that too, and so would I. Oh, look at that. Jack Ledoux says, I love IRT Carol. I'm not quite sure what that means. She'll explain it, I'm sure. She'll explain it. Don't worry. She'll explain it.
Does he mean WAP? That's what the kids are saying now. That's what the kids are calling
WAP, which means...
I don't even know. Trust me. It's
Workers Association. That WAP was something on the Waltons, I remember.
That was the WPA.
That's it. WP, thank you very much. Which just shows what we've both been doing during this pandemic, doesn't it?
You're showing your age, Joe. You're showing your age.
Indeed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now we should introduce our other guest, who is sitting there all by herself, but she is coming to us all the way from Sydney, Australia, which is kind of cool. That becomes an international show. Ladies and gentlemen, here is MIdas. Hello, MIdas.
Oh, sorry. Hi. Hello, hi.
Subtlety, thy name is Australian. There we go.
It's so weird to be talking into the past. You guys are on a Thursday night. I'm on a Friday morning.
You're on a Friday morning.
Oh, that's right. You are Friday morning, isn't it?
Yes.
Are
you? You guys can be drinking. I figure it's okay for me to be drinking. So
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. We're just going to pretend that it's 8:00 in the evening on whatever the hell day it is where you are.
So I can just go to sleep after this. So it'll be nice.
So MIdas, how wonderful it is. I have to tell you, MIdas is a very, very dear friend. MIdas alter ego is a very dear friend who I was very, very lucky enough to work with in Osaka, Japan, remember that at the Harry Potter area down up over there, whatever. I don't know how it was over and down. I guess it would be from here. So we're very excited to have her. Now I want to ask Carol. I want to come to Carol. Carol, I discovered something that I did not know. And interestingly enough, not only did I not know it, I thought you did it someplace you did a show at the Garden Theater, but not the Garden Theater here. Am I correct?
What?
I
did 2 shows here at the Garden Theater in Winter Garden, Florida.
But were both of them, so I get it. Okay. So you did, but you did do La Cage, am I right?
I did.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
How exciting!
The anniversary is like the anniversary of the opening night is like right around this time.
No kidding.
5 years ago. 5 years.
Was it 5 years ago? Wow. I had not known you did that. And in searching, because I do a lot of searching for photographs for this show.
You stalker, you.
Do you know? Thank you. And do you know I could not find a single freaking picture of you in that show? Anywhere, no matter how hard I tried. I thought I found a video for a moment, but it's gone. What other show did you do over there?
I did Hairspray the year before.
And I'm assuming you did both of the iconic roles in both of those shows.
Yeah, I did. And
you know what sucks is I did not get to see either one. It truly does. Now, you also do, I'm noticing in the background there's 2 posters that I'm quite familiar with. You also have done you have portrayed a certain Dolly, have you not?
Well, that's how I got my start, isn't it?
Yeah,
impersonating Carol Channing, and this was not supposed to end this way. That was not supposed to lead to this.
Well, you know what? This was not supposed to lead to this either, just so you know. I woke up one morning and said, what the fuck happened? But that's really exciting. And Carol, Carol is actually, was sadly a friend of mine and Chris's, my other half. I wish I had uploaded that photo now, but I didn't. So there you go. You'll have to go look at my Facebook to see it. But it's Carol and I and Chris in Anaheim, California, some years ago.
I only ever got to meet people from Broadway productions when the traveling shows would come through the Broward Center.
Yes.
And, Jennifer McLean would have them come to her cast party, and then when I was working at Leatherworks, I had the fortune to meet someone there too. So
who did you meet there? Anybody exciting?
Didn't really get names.
Okay, let's not go any further than that. There you go. Now, MIdas.
Yes.
You, I know, also do some acting, and I found something that I found rather interesting that I am very, very curious about. And that would be, I'm curious about this photo right here.
Wow, that was a lifetime ago.
I'm extremely curious about that photo. I don't even want to, no, let's not go there. But this one right here, what was this?
Oh, that was my first nude scene on stage. We did a 12-inch night, and it was a modern retelling of Twelfth Night, Shakespeare, but it was based in a gay porn studio. Oh. And this was for Mardi Gras Festival 2017.
Did someone down there write this?
Sorry, what? Huh?
Was this an original thing down there?
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
And it was super fun. And yeah, for my character, I got convinced to impress someone whom I had a crush on by showing up to work naked. So I did, and it was terrifying, but it was also very exhilarating. And I wasn't completely naked. I did wear a pair of 7-inch platform heels.
Do we have those shots? Do we have shots of that?
Yeah. Do you have any of those pictures?
I could not find a single. Had I known, I would have. But does he not make an adorable boy? I mean, seriously.
Look at that bottom.
A beautiful woman, but an adorable boy. I'm really excited because there's so much to talk about. You know, we do have scandal here on the Joe Zimmer Show. This is scandalous right here.
Oh my!
Is that Andy Griffith? That's Andy Griffith.
That is Andy Griffith and Carol. I couldn't resist, Carol. I'm so sorry.
The things that I had to do for a guest spot on Matlock.
Did he call you Aunt B or?
Oh God!
Oh dear!
It was awful.
Now, I am curious about so many things that I don't know about. Wait a minute. I think we may even have some questions from the audience here. No. Oh, wait. Was that Carol's first nude? Did Carol do? Oh, that was Carol's first nude scene in the Andy Griffith thing.
We've all done a nude scene, it seems.
No, we have not.
I've done a couple, but
it's true.
Nothing,
it's you, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't know how many of you know this, but Ryan has a past. Ryan used to be, once upon a time, he may still be for all the hell I know.
When I was young and skinny, yes.
Yes, a porn star. And hey, there's still a market for all of that stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Trust me. Yeah.
Yes.
Ryan, yes, we've all done the research. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And if you've seen any of that, as Ryan always tells me, you're welcome. So there you go. But I actually met Ryan down in Fort Lauderdale when he was king of the thing. What were you, Mr.
Stonewall?
Mr. Stonewall. Ryan was walking around in his Speedo and was absolutely, for a young man, and a very attractive young man, I might add. I'll tell you this. He actually talked to us, which was unheard of in my experience. But Fort Lauderdale is a different kind of place than Orlando is. Anyways, let's get back to business here. Let's get back to what we're here for. I want to hear a little bit about doing what you girls do. I want to hear a little bit about preparing for such a show and how you decide on what and how my main question is, how did you stumble upon doing this to begin with? Carol?
Oh, age before beauty. Is that what this is?
You said it, sweetie.
All right.
Oh dear.
I wrote a show called The Never Before Told Life of Carol Channing. Midas, do you know who Carol Channing is, my darling?
I do, darling. Yes. Yes, I'm educated.
He's a well-versed, yes.
I didn't ask that to sound bitchy. So many young queens don't know.
Context,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I could just listen to you read the phone book with that accent. I love. I seek out like Australian television shows just to listen to that. Chris Lilly is a dear friend. So,
Chris. Yes.
Summer Heights High. Anyway, back to me.
Yes.
I wrote a show called The Never Before Told Life of Carol Channing, where I played Carol Channing. And it was just like her nightclub act, where she changes on stage behind a screen and tells stories and then goes out and sings. And then what it was that it was finally time for her to admit that all these shows on Broadway that had been hits were actually written for her. And tonight, for the first time ever, you were going to get to hear them the way they were intended to be heard.
Oh, dear.
So she tells why she didn't do Annie Get Your Gun, and then sings Can't Get a Man with a Gun. And goes all the way through Evita and sings Don't Cry for Me, Argentina.
Oh my
God, I could just imagine that voice of Carol singing Don't Cry.
And including a very dramatic scene where she speaks to Sondheim, who thinks she's an old dog, so she can't learn new tricks. And anyway, so I did that, and I toured her with that for a little bit, like just taking it to different theaters and stuff. And then the next thing you know, I'm putting this on once a week to.
Fantastic.
So it all started with Carol Channing.
Yeah, it did.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Nothing wrong with that. Oh, and in fact, apparently Laurie McCaskill saw that show.
Yes. We did it at Theater Downtown.
And said you were brilliant.
On a double night, I did it with her. She did Stale Magnolias, a drag version of Stale Magnolias.
Where was I for this? Carol, I love Carol.
It was 1990. It was back in the 1900s.
In the 1990s.
I love
late 1990s. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I wasn't in Tokyo then. That could be what it was, because I worked for Disney in Tokyo for a while.
Well, so that is the only excuse I'll accept for having not seen me in that show.
Well, which brings me to the next.
I don't think I was even in elementary school yet. So,
Ryan, I can find where you live
in 1990.
What's that?
What month was it in 1990?
Say what now?
Did you say it was in 1990?
1990. What month in 1990?
What month? What?
What month did you do the show in 1990?
Oh, it wasn't 1990. It was in the 90s. Thank you very much.
Okay, gotcha.
In the 90s. Okay, yeah, it's very possible that I was.
Do I need to adjust my light? Do I really look like that ancient on this?
No. As a matter of fact, you don't, my love. As a matter of fact, you don't. I do, but you look fine. Now, that's cool. And and personally, if it was up to me, you should resurrect that show after this cockamamie mess is over.
Yeah, I'm a little big to be Carol Channing at this point.
You know what?
That's what courses are for.
I mean, besides, maybe it's time to write a more Zofted characters, maybe a Peggy Lee or something.
Do Ethel. You could do Ethel.
I could. I do. And that's the thing, singing live. That's, I think, what's kept me in this business, was it actually, if you can't get cast as a boy, cast yourself in these shows as this and sing live. And that draws a different kind of attention to drag performers. And, it's something different in a drag show when a drag queen sings live. So
it makes a lot of sense, actually. It really does. It really does. Okay, now let's go over to MIdas. MIdas, what brought you to doing this sort of character, to doing drag, if you will?
Well, a few influences. One of my very best friend is a extremely creative human being, and always has been since he was born. I think. Anyway, he got very much into makeup and visual design and art and things like that in our youth, and that slowly evolved into doing drag, and I was very inspired by that, and I thought, wow, that's really impressive. I would love to try that one day. Oh, I'm a bit scared. Oh, but I like to try. And then RuPaul's Drag Race became a huge phenomenon, which was another huge inspiration of mine. And then I saw on YouTube, there's a designer named Marco, his company is Marco, and I just adore his runways, because he uses, models of so many different sizes, so many different colors, so many different genders, drag queen models. And it's just so, everything queer and inspiring is all right there. And then when I went to Japan, there was this opportunity to do a talent show, and I thought, why not? I'll give it a go. I'll try it. This is when I had a beard, mind you, so it was going to be a very hairy queen. And so I just got up and did it, and then I just fell in love with doing it. And so ever since, I've just been dressing up in my room, trying to work on makeup and hair, and then last year I started to really start getting into the circuit in Sydney and started doing shows here and there. And that's just here I am.
It's interesting. I think that you bring up like things like Drag Race now, where like me coming into appreciating the art of drag, it started out with movies like there was a documentary, The Queen. I saw Paris is Burning. I saw Priscilla. Like that's what got me into it. And then when I moved to South Florida and moved to Wilton Manors, you couldn't spit without hitting a drag queen on a Saturday night.
Right. Yes.
But so you grow up with that. And, you mentioned you had a beard, and it's like you go to you go to Fort Lauderdale and you go to Miami and it's all the fishy girls, but you go to San Francisco and it's bearded queens everywhere. Mm-hmm. And now Holland's Drag Race, which I'm missing tonight to do the show.
You have a DVR. Don't even start with me.
But there's a bearded queen like on that show. So now,
really,
so it's like all these different things that you talk about. Now all of a sudden, people are given a platform and put like front and center. Like I probably never would have given a drag queen like Sharon. I probably never would have given her a second thought just because I had such a preconceived notion of what it's supposed to be. And then now she's put on a television show in front of millions of people, and and now everybody's like, ooh, I like people that do that. Dragula gives people that platform it's an art, it's not just, it's not just pretty girls who do pageants. It's,
True.
It's a place for everybody.
How do you two feel about what he just said? Pretty much the same way, or Carol?
Well, yeah, like him. I mean, it was a lot of movies and stuff that kind of interest you. But what I love is that it's absolutely true. Representation matters, I was putting on my mom's dress until 4:00 when she got home from work, and that dress was back in that closet. But now I think RuPaul's Drag Race has really brought it to the forefront where kids are like, it's okay. I mean, I would have died if somebody in high school found out that I wanted to put dresses on. Or that I wanted to sing and perform. I grew up in Indiana.
Really? And so even just being a performer per se, like doing the high school play or the high school musical or whatever the case may be, that was frowned upon in Indiana?
Oh my God.
Did they have such things, though? They did do that, right?
Sure, they did. And it was just typical high school where you got 3 guys that auditioned. But what my point is, like with RuPaul's Drag Race, you're talking about bearded queens and everything. Yeah. There's room at the table for everybody.
Yeah, I love that. You just got to be given a seat, And
MIdas, what I love about your look and what because I looked you up on the Instagrams.
Ooh.
And because this is a character, like Dame Edna. And of course, Dame Edna.
Only too well, twice, actually.
So this character is the same. Carol Lee is the same every time.
Right.
And I've got a history. I've got a story. I've got, from when I moved out to Hollywood in the 50s and I was Shelley Winters' stage double, to all the way, why I left Hollywood and why I left Broadway. But what I love is that you are an empty canvas every time you get ready. And what a wonderful outlet that must be for you. To just
it's fun. Like you can just try something new and find what works for you, and then use that for shows when you got to like quickly get into something. But then whenever there's an opportunity, we can just sort of sit down and think, oh, what if I did this differently? Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it's a complete disaster, and you just think, okay, I can wipe that off. But you've got that freedom to just try different things.
I think that's the beauty of the difference of what we do is, and generationally speaking, like I'm from that generation where you had one drag name and you wore the same color wig and this was your style, this was your look, and this is what you honed. Because you didn't have the internet, you were working at this club this night, and they needed to know what Miss Carol Lee looked like. And then at this club the next night, and they needed to know what Miss Carol Lee looked like. And now I can't even go on stage in a red wig, you know.
Yeah, you stick to the one color wig. Yeah.
I think the greatest thing that I've seen recently, and I know it may be cliche because it's so commercialized, is DragCon. And I went, and I met this most, amazing. And I was walking around, and you see all these queens with boots and stuff. I'm like, who are you? Who are you? It's not just the ones you see on TV. And someone I became a fan of that I saw once, like 3 years ago, never seen him again, but I follow them online, is Art Simone. And, amazing. But like Carol says, you and her, you can go on. If Carol Lee had an Instagram, it would be the same photo of Carol Lee, because that's who she is and who she plays. And then you look at yours, and you look at someone like Art's, and it's like, oh my God! Like first I was like, how have I never found you before? Like this is it's genius. What I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, so much less be able to take the palette the world gives us, and then to make something like come alive on us is, to me.
What fascinates me, and I have to say, and it really does fascinate me, is when you guys get dressed and get ready. You obviously your focus is on. I know for sure for Carol, and I know, but you're focused on entertainment. Am I correct? And entertaining the audience at the end of the day. But do you want to fool them? No. Do you don't want to fool them?
Like want to pass as female, sort of a thing? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I didn't. For me, I can't speak for other queens, but for me, it's not really about that. It's, it's hard to explain. Because I certainly appreciate the female gender so much. Obviously, because I dress like her.
I should think.
So I guess I want to personify that and exaggerate that to the point, drag, So I guess that's part of it, but I don't think I would. I think I'd be sort of delusional if I was to go out there and say I am, I think other people will perceive me as a woman. And I don't really, I want to be greater. I want to be beyond gender sort of a thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But I know Carol. Now, Carol, I have seen proof positive that you have fooled people. And you have, for example, this child right here is obviously very fooled and
thirsty.
Thinking, hey, look, there you go. And then years later came back again. oh dear. No, I mean that that's fun. But what I really love about, and I love about watching Drag Race, is. Yeah, I guess y'all can be catty when you want. So can I. I guess y'all can be catty when you want to be. But when it comes down to it, there's a certain camaraderie. We can call it a sisterhood, brotherhood, whatever you want to call it. Am I correct? I mean, I see here, for example, Carol, here's you right here. And I think this was during Lacage. You're helping someone else with their makeup.
They hired the Kajels that had never been in drag before.
Oh, really? Oh, that's funny. So, and I think that's a wonderful thing. And do you, Carol and MIdas as well? Now, MIdas, granted, you're a little bit younger than Carol. Okay. You're a little bit younger than me. You're probably younger than frickin' Ryan for that matter. But no, my question is, Carol, do you have anybody that you have, mentored, so to speak? Face, you're looking at me like, fuck you fat bastard.
You want to talk about how much weight I've gained since Lacage too? You want to
well, we can show them.
I mean, that's such an, I don't know. I mean, I know what you're going for. Like in the drag world, there are these houses, and
I don't understand that, quite frankly.
You have drag mothers and you have drag daughters and stuff like that. It's again, like Midas said, this is more theater for me than it is.
Yes.
Trying to be a woman, trying to look like a woman. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Mm-hmm. It's just, this is a character that I put on, and it definitely comes off.
Well, the old wives' tale that it is theater, because I've heard or I've read before. I think it's Wikipedia that drag first appeared in Shakespeare, and it was an acronym, and it stood for dressed as a girl.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I was thinking about that for a second.
And so it's like, that's for the longest time the role of Peter Pan was always played by women, because they were lighter, looked younger, and could be lifted, on the
that sort of higher register.
Right. And so it's like, for the longest time we've seen drag in our everyday lives, just never really recognized or knew it. And now we've got I would have loved it being a kid, but now we've got drag story time in libraries. And I mean, and I remember one drag queen said that she said, well, it's just introducing a kid to a different type of clown. But
then there are probably those, I'm going to call them drag performers. What do you guys call yourselves? Drag performer, right?
I would say drag performer.
That's very good, because that's what I used in the thing. I was going to call it RuPaul's Drag Race, but it was taken. So but that I forgot what I was going to. There are probably drag performers who would take umbrage to what you just said, or to what that queen just said. Am I right, Ryan, about introducing them to another kind of clown?
But that's the thing, is that no matter, I think this works for anybody, anywhere, and anything that we all do. It doesn't matter how you want to present; it's how you're perceived. So that's the one thing you can never control, is a person's perception of you. So if that perception is working a positive light, the child doesn't care about it. All that matters is that they've shown up to be read to connect with literature, and get to see, there's a girl that performs she just moved to Texas but lived in Fort Lauderdale. Her name was Twat LaRouge, and she called herself a living puppet. And that's the thing, is that you get them to show up. You do one thing to get them to show up, and they stay. Well,
yeah, and I think you guys would agree with me. What's wonderful is the kids could care less, as you just said. But on the other hand, the parents are the problems. So kids are raw.
It goes back to the well-known fact that no one is born racist.
Yeah.
No one is born bigoted. These are learned things. And so
there's no mean dogs, only bad. There's no bad dogs, only bad owners. There's a kid learns from what they see and what they observe. And so, I knew growing up when I was in college, I had to take a hard realization where I was like, oh my God, my grandfather was a complete racist. But as a child, I didn't know these things that he was saying until, case in point, whenever we would go watch football, or he'd be driving down the road and he would hear, hip hop music or R&B or rap or anything. And my grandfather used to call it spear chucking music. And literally, I didn't know what he meant. And then I'm sitting in a college anthropology class, and we're learning about spear chuckers in the Amazon. And I'm like, holy shit, that man's a racist.
My God.
Where I'm like,
wow.
Wow. So
Yeah,
we absorb those things as we're younger, and it shapes the way that we are when we're older. Thankfully, I wised up and didn't back
we all
Virginia.
do. We all do. I had much the same upbringing, Ryan. only it was my brothers and my dad. And I had no idea until I moved away from there what was going on. It really did. And it's amazing how you just don't know.
Yeah, totally. Because when you're in that one environment and like everyone acts the same, behaves, you just think that's how it is everywhere.
Exactly.
Until you move out and then you discover, things are different.
Well, look, there's other people out there. Yeah.
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 And
So-
I used to only focus on things that were happening like inside of, the States. And it wasn't until season 6 of Drag Race that Courtney Act wore the Aboriginal flag like on her dress. And then to like follow that online and see how upset like white Australians got with her for bringing attention to brown Australians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there's still there's a huge problem with racism in Australia that people tend to this is a generalization, but people tend to dull it down to the point where, oh no, racism's not a thing here. Oh no, it's very much a thing, which is sad. But like we need to be more open.
Well,
but yeah, we are.
Yeah, big news. That's what they do here too. So
also water is wet.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes, it is.
Exactly.
To bring it back to the drag thing, Midas, you find in Sydney, I've never been. Well, I'm not allowed back, I should say. There were some issues with the passport. But do you find in Sydney that, like, Joe and I are in Orlando, which is a gay mecca, really, and a bubble around it because of certain companies that are here. And Ryan lives in Wilton Manors, for Christ's sake, which
that's a gayborhood.
Oh my God. I mean, like you said, you can't spit without hitting a drag queen. But so is Sydney like that as well? Like, is it a bubble? Like, did you ever do a gig outside of Sydney and you're like, oh girl, we ain't in Sydney anymore? Like,
it really depends on which suburb you go to. Some places are very conservative. Some places are very open. Some places are predominantly, straight, but very open to it. Others are, we have some areas that are very like predominantly gay neighborhoods, but still very conservative and still very quiet. So they're not into the whole scene. Then you've got everywhere, like every suburb is its own suburb, and we've got so many different communities. We've got so many different ethnicities and different groups, community groups who have come from, different countries because it's a very multicultural state or country. Everyone there are places where they all tend to keep to themselves, other places where they mix, and so every place you've got to sort of do your research on who's my audience.
What does it look like
for you? Who is your audience? Like, because I would tell you, I haven't performed in a gay club in probably 7 years.
Right.
So I am performing 95% of the time for a straight crowd that wants this kind of body entertainment, So what do you perform in gay clubs? Do you perform?
For example,
that's me doing stuff at the Orlando Improv.
Yeah,
I love that.
So,
I've performed in queer venues, and there have been times where I've performed for venues where that are for predominantly straight audience. But majority of the time, I've tended to stick towards the queer audience. I guess I'm still like a baby queen in the sense that I do most of my work is not paid. Like, it's all like volunteer, sort of like open mic, like wherever I can go, competitions and such. I have done gigs, I've been a working queen, but predominantly it's like wherever there's an opportunity to perform, as opposed
everybody has to start someplace.
Every drag queen has performed for free, and that will never stop. You can be in this for 25 years, and you will still be asked to perform for free.
Oh, totally.
But you know what? I can speak for someone that works for like organizations and boards, and the girls that we call up and I'm like, hey, I've got this event. Can you MC it for me? And they're the first ones to be like, yes, absolutely, I'll do anything for you. And then those are the same girls where I'm like, oh, hey, by the way, next week I have a $200 paying gig. Are you available as well?
Yeah.
One
It's like,
place to another.
right. So you talk, Midas, talk about Sydney. What is? I think that I'll be honest and say that I think my only impression of Australia would have to be Sydney. I mean, that's the image that's ever ingrained in our heads, as Americans, because the Opera House and the bridge. So what does what does drag life look like outside of the capital? When you get into smaller, called provinces, or maybe no. I think of Canada. I don't know.
We would say suburbs, I suppose.
There you go.
And different states. Well, I can't really speak for like other states because to be honest, I've seen more of like other countries than I've seen of my own. Like, I haven't visited Northern Territory, Perth, or South Australia, or Tasmania. I've only been to Melbourne to visit my friends. I didn't really see the city. I had only been to Queensland to go to Dreamland, and so I can't really speak for them. But so I grew up on the Central Coast, which is roughly an hour and a half out of Sydney. It's not really bush area, but people in the city think it's bush area, and so there's a small queer community there. Oh, hello. And different places, they have like little small segments. Like drag bingo is a huge thing here. And like pretty much at every pub, wherever you go.
Carol knows about that.
There will be a drag queen doing drag bingo or trivia.
It's a phenomenon, it's either a phenomenon or a plague. I don't know.
Yeah. And we do have a Broken Heel Festival, which is based on Priscilla Queen when they go to Broken Heel, and that's every year. Although it wasn't on this year because of Corona, but it will hopefully be on next year. But that's a very successful gathering of people from everywhere in the country, just to celebrate drag and queer community out in the desert, which is weird, but that's how it is. Yeah.
It's like the drag Burning Man. Yeah. Get out of my head. The drag Burning Man, so to speak. I know Carol does.
I think everyone is different. Like each place has its different things that they stick to, things that they don't do, things that they do. But I think predominantly it's, drag has its presence everywhere, but whether it's small, whether it's large, it all depends.
So Carol, you do drag bingo, do you not?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Or did?
Out of Detroit. I do it out of Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
They fly me up to Detroit. And again, 99% straight audience. I do six shows in a weekend in a suburb of Detroit. And probably 125 people a show, and 6 times in a weekend. And then I come home Sunday night and my pussy is on the floor.
That's awesome. I think shows like you say, RuPaul's Drag Race, especially obviously RuPaul's Drag Race, have pretty much put this to a certain degree into the mainstream, where it's okay for a straight guy to go and watch this show.
Well, I think it's brought a new audience. Because I mean, I had seen RuPaul and Tu Wong Fu before. I didn't necessarily get the name racial profiling until I was older, but I had seen, it was kind of taboo, like me seeing the movie, with friends in high school, the closeted queer kids, and we're like, hey, I found this movie, let's watch it. And I was disappointed when it wasn't porn. But now it's okay, and I've asked, drag queen friends of mine, especially the girls in Fort Lauderdale that work at Lips, and do you ever feel like, our safe space has been invaded? And a girl said to me one time, she's like, yeah, sometimes I do. But then at the end of my show, she's like, well, FPL thanks you. My landlord thanks you. My cell phone bill thanks you.
Sure.
So it's like a catch-22 to where our safe spaces and what I feel as a queer person, where like my entertainment has been taken from me, so to speak. But hey, girls got to pay. Like that's how sometimes girls make their living, is 24 hours. Like the girls that work at Lips, like some of them, like that's what they do all day, every day is entertain, and that's how they pay their bills. And so I'm not going to knock anybody on the way they make their money. You know,
I think it's a great bridge for education because you've got all this new audience coming in to see drag shows, which is great. And sometimes they don't really have the theatre etiquette. Sometimes they can get a bit wild, but we can use that platform as a way to say, this is what proper way to be an audience and stuff. But then also go on to talk about other LGBTQIA issues that they normally wouldn't know or hear about, and then they could potentially pass that on to their community. So yeah, it is a catch-22. Like sometimes they come into the venues and can get a bit but also they can be all like, it can be great, and we can all be friends and share the love. So
yeah.
So we actually have a question from the audience for Carol Lee. Here it comes. It's going to pop up on the screen here, Carol. I had a feeling that was going to be the response.
Oh, thank you for asking. We haven't spoken in a while. He's still living here. She's referring to Paul Williams, my musical conductor, my third husband, my favorite husband to date.
To date.
And yes, he's fine. He's fine. He is quarantining himself in the bottom drawer of my bureau, if you will, and because he's very tiny. Paul Williams.
Oh, apparently so. Yeah. Oh, yes. Actually, yes, he is, isn't he? That's funny. Wow. Now, I want to get. I'm because we have you ever had any experience, either one of you, with any of the horrible experiences that we've heard of? I mean, not the horror, obviously. You're both here with us, but I mean, have you ever had any bad experiences with the not so accepting people, shall we say, while you were in drag or doing your show or whatever? And what happened?
Well, not about this.
Right. Well, okay.
Maybe a couple jokes I told went over the line a couple times. Maybe a bachelorette thought she was funnier than me, Yeah,
well, yeah.
But I think the people that are at my shows are at my shows because of what the show is. Nobody's walking in the streets to my shows anyway. Like, what is this? Yeah. They're there for that show. So,
And being an entertainer, you don't actually go to the venue. I imagine you don't actually go to the venue dressed. Am I correct?
Well, that depends on the venue, doesn't it?
I do. Well, I get. I should just shut up because I know damn well that as a performer, for example, this fella right here. This fella right here, you will see driving. Not this year, you won't. But you'll see him driving around Orlando. Okay, and sometimes you'll see two of them driving around Orlando in cars parallel to each other, which is hysterical.
Way
to confuse the kids, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, and Midas, I'm sure you've had this experience too. I put a full face of drag on in the rear view mirror of my car.
Oh, yeah. Quick drag. Yes. I did a show, We Will Rock You, the musical, and I did that in drag. I was playing one of the Bohemians, and during one show, I had audience members like throw stuff at me, which wasn't nice. And I thought maybe the first time maybe that was an accident, and then it happened again, and then I looked down to see what it was, and it was a bit nasty. But I'm very fortunate because I've received more love than dislike. So I just try to focus on the good. Yeah.
Good. That's what you see. I think that's what we all have to focus on, especially now You know what I'm saying? There you, especially now. This wow, this is good. This is fun. Ryan, can you think of anything? I can't. My mind is agog here. Can you think of anything else that we could talk about here? We've got a couple of minutes left.
What do you ladies see? The way that I mean, there's been some clubs who've reopened, and I thought it was incredibly genius. I saw this drag queen in Miami had a face mask made for her that was her face, and she had a mouthpiece. So when she was lip syncing, it had lips on the outside of the mask, and it looked like she was performing. And then there were girls that had plastic shields, you know. So in the age of Corona going forward, until we have an answer for this, how do you perceive, or how have you managed with this changing time?
Yeah, I know that y'all aren't working. I know that. That's in the entertainment industry right now, unless you're on television or whatever. How are you coping with that, Carol?
See, and I think just like every theater is coping with that. I'm trying to put, and that's, I guess, one of the things I think makes it easier for me is that I have this character, so I am trying to create online content for my character, which I think the people that are having the hardest time with this are the older queens that don't have that kind. Like Midas, your whole generation has performed for an iPhone and then posted on Instagram. You know what I mean? So this is not uncommon for her generation at all. You know,
that's for sure.
I do I do my 5 minutes in interviews with actors around Orlando. I post them on Facebook. I post them on YouTube. And
Which are very good. Very good.
I'm starting a new thing called Joy and Pleasure with Carol Lee, and it's going to be little 1 minute maybe videos of things that bring me pleasure and joy.
That's nice.
Like Paul Williams.
Like Paul Williams. I'm looking forward to that.
So, but it's going to be obviously ridiculous things. Like I was reading, I got the idea from Joan Crawford's book, The Way I Live My Life, or what she wrote in the 60s, where it's just these ridiculous things that only a Hollywood movie star would have in her life. And she's like, I do this every Friday. I swim in my Olympic-sized pool. And it's like, come on, Joan. So it's going to be things like that. So I'm trying to keep an online presence, just like every entertainer out there.
That's awesome. And so is what I just put up there. It's pretty awesome.
So Midas, what about you? What I mean,
same.
You guys are a lot luckier in Australia. You know, you're not.
We are.
You don't have. Is your prime minister denying that the whole thing exists? I'm kidding. I don't want to talk about that.
No. I like Miss Carol Lee. I've also done a few online videos, but yeah, we're very fortunate in that with the isolation. Well, the thing with New South Wales and Australia mostly is that we've got a big population, but we've got a big continent, so it's not as dense. With the quarantine and the isolation, we were fortunate in that it didn't spread as much. And so, I mean, it's still out there, so we've still got to work very hard to be careful, you know. But yeah, we've had a few the clubs in Sydney have been able to open up with a lot of restrictions and very strict, but it has given us still opportunity to get out on stage and, you know, with huge distance, but we haven't had to perform with masks, which we've been very fortunate with.
I think
we maintain that vigilance, you know.
I hope everybody who is watching,
and everyone's getting drunk to remind them to sit down and stay in your corner. You can't go here, you can't interact with us. Yeah.
And I hope everybody who is watching, who's watching right now, and who will be, and I know a lot of people watch after the fact. I I've discovered that a lot of people watch the show after the fact. A little bigger viewership than I ever thought I'd have. Anyways, but I hope they're listening to what you just said, because I think it does bear saying. Like you said, Australia is huge. Okay, and as you say, not as densely populated all over as it is here in the States. So I think you've been, again, like you say, you've been able to cope with it better there. I'm not saying that we're doing it right here. Okay, I'm not saying that by any means. All right, but
no one should.
Thank you. But I am saying that I think we got to realize that we got to learn from that. We got to learn from other countries, which will not happen until after November. Oh my goodness, I'm getting political. Oh dear. That's my belief. My belief is that things will change considerably then, and if they don't, I'll be very upset. And so will a lot of people. Anyways,
I like the T-shirt, Ron. It's very
right. And hey, depending on how November 3rd goes, you might, if you got room on your couch, I could.
Yeah, really. But I'm hoping when this is all done, I'm certainly hoping when this is all done, I'm hoping Nat can come over. Yes. And I'm hoping Nat can come over and meet Carol for sure. Actually, meet Carol for real meeting, and Ryan as well. Ryan, by the way, Ryan no longer lives in Fort Lauderdale. Where do you live now?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Well, there you go. Shit!
North Carolina, actually, so it'd be worth the trip.
Well, once everything opens up, Charlotte just went to North Carolina. Just moved to, in America we have all these phases, so they've moved now to phase 2.5, which means that they've opened. So that means they've opened the gyms.
Yeah.
But they haven't opened entertainment facilities. So
yeah.
A bar that doesn't serve food is closed. Although I still don't understand why a place can serve you a $5 burger and open, but the place that doesn't serve you a burger can't. It's still people congregating and drinking. Just because you cut them off at 11 o'clock doesn't mean anything. But
right.
I don't make laws. I just vote for the people that do.
Well, yeah.
But I haven't got to make really any friends except for on the social apps. So take that friendship for what it's worth. I joke because I'm the only friends I've made are the bartenders and servers at the restaurant by my house that I'm at 3 times a week, because there's no queer spaces open. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to is just getting to go out and meet people, because that's me. My personality is hi, who are you? Sure. I like to. And I'm a fruit fly.
Yeah. I have seen Carol post, and I have to tell you. I hope I don't embarrass you by saying this, but I have seen Carol post about just that subject, and I feel much the same way as she does. I watch many of my friends out there posting saying, I'm going here, I'm going there, and I'm going to the drinking, and I'm going to the movies, and you know what? Fuck you, okay? Excuse my language, but that kind of pisses me off. I'm diabetic, and I think, and I'm vulnerable. My other half is vulnerable, okay? And I go to the grocery store, I go to Costco or whatever, I go in, and I am boom, 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 and out, and that's it. How is it for you, Midas, down there? Same thing?
Yes, there are people that take it less seriously than they should, and I don't think it's doing anyone any favors by doing that. But I think for me, I'm the same. If I need to go shopping, in and out. Mm-hmm. But then I've always done that because I've never really liked shopping. If I know what I want and I go in and out. So it's not really because I change to it.
I don't browse. I know what I need and get out.
Oh God! I used to when we were in Osaka. I got to tell you, this is very funny. We were in Osaka. Because I was bored, I would go to see grocery stores and walk around the grocery store in Osaka. I'm an idiot. They had a Walmart sort of thing. They had the Walmart of Osaka. I don't know if you ever saw that, Nat, but they had a Walmart. But and it had all the same crap, but in Japanese. It was really weird. So there you go. Listen, kids, it is 9:03, and I have really enjoyed this.
It's past Carol's bedtime.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
It was my great pleasure to have all of you here. Truly, what a joy. What a joy. And I hope that we've opened up a little bit of that mystery about what this is about. And at least got to know you guys a little bit better, which for me, quite frankly, has been a lot of fun.
Wait, those are men?
What? Obvious.
How dare you?
Yeah, this has been great, and I got to see some old friends in the room. Jamie Garcia Anderson, who, if you ever go to her page, just her son is absolutely adorable. Am I right? Did you see his photo shoot, Carol?
Yeah.
I was like, and I said, he's adorable. He's having so much fun. I said, it's pretty obvious. So that's so cool. Listen, Midas, Carol, thank you so much, truly. Ryan, thank you. I'm going to say goodbye. Goodbye to Carol. Goodbye to Midas, all the way down there in Australia. Ryan, you take care of yourself. I love each and every one of you. Take care, kids, okay?
Share the love. Share the love.
You bet. Take care, gang. Bye-bye. Bye, Bonds. Okay, folks, that's another episode wrapped up next week. Oh, my God. We have the one and only Bev Bergeron, star of stage, screen. He was the Diamond Horseshoe here in Orlando. What a guy Bev is. And I'm excited to have, it was Rebo the Clown on the old Mark Wilson show. So I'm really excited to have Bev next week. Awesome show it's going to be. And I've got some real surprises in store for that. So I want you all to take care of yourselves. Remember, for those of you in Orlando, tomorrow, the Plaza Live, 11:30 to 1 o'clock. Artists helping artists. Come down. Get yourself some lunch. They got buttloads of produce for you sometimes, but they'll at least have some produce for you, I'm sure. And a great little lunch, dinner. In fact, I picked up dinner, and it lasted us 5 nights for the amount of food they gave us in the actual prepared food last week. So come on down there. Tomorrow, the Pirate Band is going to be playing for everybody, which will be a lot of fun. We're really excited about that. And I know some of you know of those guys better than others. So please come down and see us tomorrow, 11:30 to 1 o'clock. We'd love to help you out. And don't get proud. Get out there and have some fun with us, okay? Take care, kids. And remember, look for the helpers, because you know what? They are out there, and they're helping. And you can be one too. Take care, gang. I love you. Be good. Bye-bye.